So the United States is lowering the threshold for American military involvement in a possible war with North Korea. In the face of mounting threats from the young, untested dictator of the country, Kim Jong-un, the U.S. is getting ready to fight back. Now, while the nearly 30,000 American troops in South Korea are already obligated to defend that country in the event of an all-out war, under the new plan, these troops could fight in direct response just to provocations from North Korea. It could be a significant difference from the way things are right now. Pentagon correspondent Chris Lawrence is out front tonight. And Chris, let me start off by asking you that question. What does this new agreement actually mean for American troops and the threshold where they would be in conflict?
Aaron, it basically puts it down on paper and formalizes the agreement that the U.S. is going to be a part of this defense right from the get-go. Not just all-out war, but even these small-scale attacks. So what are we talking about? Well, North Korea was accused of sinking, torpedoing a South Korean ship. So one of the provocations could be North Korean ships going into these disputed waters, which they have in the past. Also,
of course, I was still living in New Zealand in those days, and that's how I really became deeper and deeper involved. You know, as the websites expanded, as the email list went international and got a lot of, you know, hundreds and then thousands of people around the world. You know, I was publishing things by leading prophetic voices, and it was only later that I began to really preach and travel, and eventually moving to Kansas City. We were in Kansas City for 2.5 years, but by that time I'd already been involved in the prophetic movement for, you know, a long time. And I guess it was moving to Kansas City and really seeing the state of things that really pushed me out of the movement. Yeah, Todd Bentley was involved in the same movement. You know, he had mentors like Patricia King, who runs what's called Extreme Prophetic and very well known. Obviously Bob Jones, who comes from Kansas City. You know, I wasn't as well known as those kind of guys. I was more of a second-tier sort of person, but still had a relatively wide influence in a way, just because of my publishing, and the internet side was always growing bigger and bigger, you know. So.
Same caliber as the cartridge that we found back there. It didn't die instantly. The indications from the rangers, the tracks that they found, was that it was shot close to where the previous one was, the juvenile animal, and that it ran here and it died here. So it was probably wounded. There's no damage on the head, so it probably was a body shot, a bad body shot.
You can see it's quite easy to get over this fence, and in a lot of places the fence is damaged underneath, so you can even just go underneath it, so it doesn't really stop anyone from crossing.
At the moment what we're up against here is a war. It is a counterinsurgency type war. Your enemy has no rules, and therefore, you know, we need to look down that road in terms of how we're going to improve our tactics to fight this particular scourge at that level.
We cannot protect this rhino, these rhinos that are walking around the bush. We cannot protect anything. Why much well closed down. It will be an indicator of our will, government will, our will as a nation to protect our natural resource. So that's my personal opinion. If we cannot do that, much well close down the parks.